Oh my gosh, guys, welcome back to another episode of Umineko no Nakakoro ni Rondo of the Witch of Reasoning When They Cry. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe to get all you. God, I have a great tuber voice. Make sure to hit that bell button. Just ring that bell button. Alright. So, we're gonna have to deal with the first Twilight of the fourth game now. God, I streamed way longer than I thought I would last night. So I'm not gonna go as long tonight. Maybe just like 2.5 hours or something. Because I went like an hour longer than I wanted to. It was worth it, but you had an interesting idea for a brainstorm. Who isn't Beatrice? Goda. Battler definitely isn't Beatrice. Kairi definitely isn't Beatrice. Hideyoshi definitely isn't Beatrice. George definitely isn't Beatrice. Genji, Kraus. That's it. I don't know about Nanjo. I never want to trust fucking Nanjo. There's just something about him. I just don't fucking like him at all. I think he's the most fucking useless ass doctor. I wonder what his actual like medical fucking chops are, because all he does is nothing. He's the worst fucking doctor. He does nothing. He's fat. Look at him. He's fucking huge. He needs to eat an apple a day. I'm teasing him, but still. Notice how I said nothing about Jessica, Maria, Rosa, Ava, Matsui, Shannon. He needs to steal Kinzo's liquor. Kinzo's absinthe stash. Oh wait, I forgot to change the title on Steam. Let me do that real quick. Umineko time. Because we are not playing EU5 anymore. We are playing Umineko. There we go. And that way people will know. There we go. It was a pitch black room. There was no windows, and with the weak white light bulb, one could just barely make out the state of things around them. It appeared to be an old, forgotten underground storage room, with some kind of dusty furniture haphazardly thrown into it. Winchester theory is so on the fucking table. However, even with just a little light, one could at least make out that it probably wasn't a storage room. After all, that room was sealed off with iron bars. Where is this? I don't know. Could this be underneath the mansion? Has there always been a room like this directly underneath the dining hall? Has there? They had dropped into what appeared to be a pit, falling into this room. Therefore, it was natural to assume that this room was directly under the dining hall. I don't know, I just work here. However, not even Kraus could bring himself to believe that there were pitfalls rigged in his beloved dining hall where he had enjoyed his meals for years. Oh my gosh. And that this dungeon-like room lay directly beneath it. But the ceiling above was of crude stone craftsmanship, and they couldn't understand how they could have fallen from somewhere up there. No, all 5 people who had been dropped here thought the same thing. They teleported. Although they'd had the sensation of falling into a pit, there was no way that there could be any pitfalls in the dining hall, nor could this dungeon-like place be directly under it. But the truth was that they actually had fallen into this place and were locked in. I just want to hear what Kyrie thinks. And I'm going to take it as gospel. So they were confused. It is lucky that no one was hurt after falling from such a height. I'm not even 100% sure if they fell. I don't really want to buy that. Is it lucky that... Oh wait, I already read this. Shannon, Cannon, did either of you know about this room? No. We did not know of this room either. Why the fuck is half the family locked up in gay baby jail? I can't fucking believe this. Really? There's no way fucking Kyrie should trust Shannon or Cannon right now. Really? We really don't know about a room like this. Despite their age, Kyrie apparently wouldn't have found it odd if they, as servants allowed to wear the one-winged eagle, might know of the mansion's secret tricks. There was a long silence, as if Kraus was evaluating their answer. I've been talking about, like, hidden tunnels underneath the fucking mansion for, like, at least since episode 3. So this is very vindicating to me. I kind of had to back off on it when they said there was no, like, hidden cubbies in the rooms. Like, that was... I know. No, it's probably true that you don't know. After all, this is the clean freak Shannon we're talking about. If she knew about this room, she'd probably scrub this place until it was sparkling. Shut the fuck up, Kraus. Shut the fuck up. The filth of this room is proof that you two don't know of it. I can't find my toothpicks. This is bugging me. This vexes me. More importantly, I think we should worry about what to do next. Exactly. We need to call the police, or rather administer first aid as soon as possible. Nanjo's words were hollow. Kinzo probably has the nastiest fucking asshole in existence. I know Kinzo's not fucking cleaning his asshole. I know he's not. Why the fuck am I talking about this? Okay, Nanjo's words were hollow. Genji wiped him? Obviously. 6 people have been killed in the dining hall. Everybody had the exact same moment when they'd been killed. Everybody had seen the exact moment when they'd been killed. And since half of their heads had been destroyed, anyone could tell that the deaths had been instant with just a single glance. Everyone understood that first aid no longer held any meaning. Thank you, Dr. Nanjo. But what the fuck are you talking about? We already understand that our partners are no longer alive. Thanks for trying to console us by mentioning first aid. Natsui. Once again, a gloomy silence dominated the atmosphere. But Kraus shook his head harshly over and over for the time being. Decided to forget about the pain of losing his wife. I don't think he gives a fuck about his wife. And to dedicate himself to figuring out where they were. Everyone, listen to me. Father is hopeless now. Now? Just now? Just now, he's finally given up on Kinzo. We've passed the point of searching for a reason or an explanation that can be expressed in words. Nobody answered. Without any kind of discussion or mercy, 6 people had been killed in an instant. And Kinzo had been so bold as to proclaim that we've become sacrifices for a ceremony involving 13 murders. Since we've been locked up in this place, we too will probably become the ceremony's next sacrifices soon. Around this time, our eyes became used to the darkness, and bit by bit we were able to understand more about the dungeon's interior. What we thought was furniture haphazardly left in the dungeon turned out not to be furniture at all. They were... What the fuck? Okay. They were things like small cages to lock people in, restraints, or else torture racks. Oh, this better not be some fucking Pulp Fiction shit. God damn it. At any rate, it was obvious that it was eerier than a mere jail cell. Since the objects were rusted together and coated in thick dust, there was no doubt that they had been forgotten. I wonder if you remembered. Well, I think this is definitely connected to, like, Beatrice's, like, underground vault. Maybe you could even call these things Kinzo sealed in forgotten madness. Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about, Eric. However, we had been locked away in this room. Those objects weren't exactly comforting to people who were locked up. I don't remember anything. Maybe Kinzo mentioned this offhandedly. He's like, "Oh yeah, I have a torture dungeon." Those objects weren't exactly comforting to people who were locked up, hoping to be released without harm. Oh. At any rate, let's get out of here. We've lost loved ones and friends and would like to spend some time shedding tears. But more than that, I'm worried about the children. I wonder if the children are safe. Shut up, you're a child. You're a child too. All we can do is pray. Come to think of it, Kumasawa and Goda aren't here. Perhaps they were able to get away safely. You never know. It would be a relief if they were able to meet up with the children. I just need a brain blast! Think? Fuck, don't get me started. I love Jimmy. God, Jimmy Neutron does eat up a lot of childhood nostalgia for me. Okay. Especially the fucking direct to TV movie. That shit was so bizarre. I'm so fucking old. Ugh. It would be a relief if they were able to meet up with the children. When the going gets tough, Goda-san is reliable, and Kumasawa-san is knowledgeable and calm. I love Shannon. I'm sure they'll be able to help the children. Yes, that certainly would be comforting. Shannon and Krause smiled bitterly a little, but they quickly realized how improper that was and stopped clearing their throats. We can't be optimistic, Nason. There's a chance they've already been attacked after we were. I agree. What Father carried out in the dining hall was 6 murders of the first Twilight from the witch's epitaph, right? Then the second Twilight is to tear apart the two who were close. We can't deny the possibility that Goda-san and Kumasawa-san may have been killed after escaping together. We can't cling to the optimistic idea that they must have gotten to the guest house and are protecting the children. Kairi coldly analyzed the worst case scenario. For her, it was heartbreaking to have her beloved husband. What? To have lost her beloved husband. Okay. But right now, the most important thing was protecting that husband's son, along with the other children, from becoming the insane family head sacrifices. She overcame her sadness with a parental urge to protect children from sorrow. It seemed that both Kairi and Krause were strong enough to forget about their grief, if only for the time being. They would let their tears flow later. In order to protect the children, they had to act. Anyway, let's get out of here. It seems to be a rather old cell. Couldn't we break the bars with something? Let's try searching the entire room for some way to escape. I wonder if there are any torture tools lying around these torture cages. They might be useful as weapons or to break the bars. It's like that scene from Pirates of the Caribbean where they use the dog like at the left. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking about the fucking Lego game. Fuck. I think in the I think in the show they just have the dog give them the keys. Kairi pulled a lighter from her pocket. She herself didn't smoke, but she kept one tucked away in her pockets to light Rudolph's cigarettes. It was an extremely valuable source of light for searching in this dim dungeon. Shannon, help Kairi-san search the room. Cannon, you help me check out the bars. This is a very old cell. The bars could be loose. What should I help you with? Please just keep your strength. Father will probably come soon. You're the only one whose words will reach him. In a way, you might be holding our lives in your hands. My words will no longer reach him, I think. But I'm sorry. I don't believe I'll be of any use. Then let us end your expertise. Lend us your expertise as a doctor. I wonder if there exists a drug that can make people instantly faint. A drug that makes people instantly faint? What are you talking about? We believe we fell through a pit and landed in this dungeon. In that panic-stricken moment, that's what we believed happened. But I measured the breadth of this room and came to a realization. This dungeon can't be underneath the dining hall. Why do you say that? You're an idiot, Nason. Oh my god, Cannon. Fucking tone it down. Jesus. Compared to the dining hall, this dungeon is too cramped. Exactly. The first person to fall was Krause Nissan. The second was myself. When you fell into this room, did you move from that spot, Krause Nissan? It's embarrassing to say, but the landing hurt, and I laid there groaning in pain. Immediately after that, Kairi-san came crashing down next to me. So it doesn't like line up. I think what they're trying to say is, yeah, the distance between where they fell is different than where they are now. The distance between where we were standing and the places where we landed is clearly off. If we can trust what's happening, then episode 4 suddenly seems to take place in a dungeon. That's the tricky thing is I tend to take a lot of these scenes where Battler isn't in them. I kind of tend to view them a little agnostically. If you're doing that, we're golden. It just seems to me it's the shit that Beatrice wants us to see to make us think that this could be magic. But it's those little things where if you remember back to the thing with Kyrie and the cigarette butt, there's always a second story that we don't know going on. So while something like this could be happening, we just don't know to what degree what can be verified right now. That's why I don't really come up with like a bunch of big theories. I just kind of like observe things. Because to me, I'd rather I'm when it comes to like stuff like this, I'm so afraid of like making a wrong call that instead I'll just like process everything. I agree. I totally agree, Sid. Everything means something. It's just to what. It's just the way we're being told this is important. Or it's not that, but it's like this is it. It's like this for a reason. Certainly, when you put it that way. I think you'll have enough to work with by the end of episode 4, which is Tea Party. Okay, that'll be good. I was the next to fall, so I remember fairly where you two were standing. The distance between the two in the dining hall might have been greater than this entire room. We fell into a pit and directly dropped down here. It's not like we fell into multiple interlocking pipes and we're all connected here, like fucking flushed away. The fall was instant, wasn't it? I don't remember rolling around in some elaborate water pipe system. True, we can't explain it with a pitfall. What a strange tale. What does that have to do with a drug that makes people instantly faint, like Kairi-sama was talking about? Kairi-sama is probably thinking that there were no pitfalls in the dining hall, correct? But in reality, we did fall. Did you? More accurately, we felt as though we fell into pits. That was only natural. After all, we experienced something that couldn't be described in any other way. I see. In other words, this is what you want to say. We did not fall into pits. We were attacked with something like a blow dart, for example, and lost consciousness instantly. It could be that we just remember the instant we fell to the floor as though that's exactly what I was thinking. As though it were falling into a pit. I see. That's a much more persuasive argument than being numerous pitfall traps in the dining hall that we could have never noticed, even after the decades eating there. Nason, do you have a watch? Huh? Yes. I have a pocket watch. It's about 10:40. Yes, my watch says the same. In short, it's only been a bit more than 10 minutes since that uproar in the dining hall at most. So how... Unless they fucked with their clocks. How would Kenzo have been able to transport 4 people any distance longer than, like... My watch has the same time. That's much too short a time to knock us out and carry us anywhere. It is. Judging only from the time, it's reasonable to assume that we did fall through a hole leading directly underneath the dining hall. They could have tampered with the watch hands as much as they wanted. While we were passed out, they may have wound everyone's watches back. I think that's very sound logic, Kyrie. We're incapable of proving that this possibility doesn't exist. I mean, the one thing that I'm 100% sure of is that the killer is trying to convince us that witches exist. So the killer, whoever they are, would definitely do something like that like Kyrie's describing. Like, that seems to be more than anything their MO. Their modus operandi. Exactly. If they just needed to kill people to make a sacrifice happen, then they wouldn't have to go through all the trouble of all the closed rooms and stuff. It's more about proving the existence of the witch. But why? And to who? Well, Battler, but even then, that gives me more questions than answers. Whether it was a pitfall or a drug that induces fainting, it does not change the fact that we need to be on guard. How the fuck does that even get through the spam? Well then, Dr. Nanjo, is there a drug that can do that? Well, it's the same as your reasoning, Kairi-san. I cannot prove that there isn't a drug with the effect that I don't know about. As they say, you can never be too careful. Sorry, it was a useless question. I just thought that with my hypothesis, I could suggest that this dungeon might not necessarily be directly underneath the dining hall. I see. There's always the possibility that we were carried off too. The hidden mansion they say Father built in the middle of the forest. If we can escape from here and get outside, then we'll know. We'll save worrying about that until after we get out. Exactly. I'm truly sorry. I've only been asking about and prying into useless things. No, it's quite promising. If you notice anything else, please tell us. You're the smart one, Kyrie. It might become a hint to escape from here. Rudolph was talking about you. He said he always was surprised by your ideas, and they would sometimes give him valuable hints. The fact that you're here is a blessing within a tragedy. I agree. She might be my favorite character. She might be my favorite character. Oh gosh, I really like Kairi. She's never in a bad scene. Thank you. I heard something from Rudolph-san as well. He said you suck eggs. He said that you usually just swagger about, but when you get serious, you overflow with a sense of responsibility and can be a very dependable older brother. That's too kind. Damn it, at any rate, these iron bars won't even budge. How are things on your end, Cannon? No, this side is no better. She's literally locked in. They need to get some leverage. They need to try to make one of those torture tools into like a bar that can pry it open. Kraus and Cannon tried wiggling the bars in various ways. There were a few bars that could be twisted, and a few even had enough space to rattle a little bit around in. But they couldn't be broken with human strength alone. However, there was still hope if they could use some kind of lever-like tool. That's what I've been saying! It was still far too early to give up yet. The children's lives were hanging in the balance. Even if there was no hope, they couldn't stop their struggle. And it was better for them to act this way. If they were to stop, there's no doubt that they'd once again be overcome by grief of losing their loved ones and curl up, clutching their knees. How are you doing, Kairi-san? Find anything? I found some small stones that we could use to hold on to and hide. Something like this probably could be used as a weapon. Though it'd probably be impossible to whittle down those iron bars with them. But you could probably make the rock sharper and then use a sharp rock to do it. Some fucking, like... It's like one of those videos where it's like the caveman guy. Or not like the primal living people that like beat their arrowheads out. It's like that. They need to do that. Chimpanzees will teach other chimpanzees how to make like effective like stone. I don't know what they're called. Like those little stone tool things that they use to like beat shit open. There's a word for it. It's like anthropological. But that's what they need to fucking do. How about you, Shannon Chan? No, nothing. Is that a telephone there? Ah, this is a phone. I doubt it's connected. But we might be able to use the cord as some string-based weapon. Okay. If we break it, we could take out the metal parts. Kraus Nissan, there's a keyhole for opening the bars, right? Is she gonna bend the copper wire into a fucking lockpick? Please, Kairi. Please fucking get this shit done. Yes. It's a pretty large hole, quite old-fashioned. If we twist some wire into it, we might just be able to pick it. We might be able to use the metal parts of the phone as a substitute for something. This phone will become our weapon. It's just like investing. Our weapon is information. They aren't breaking the law. They've been captured by their grandfather, who's going to kill all of them. I think you're good, Aliana. I don't think the island of Rokanjima is real, unfortunately. And this is 1986. So anything you could do would be far too late to assist the Ushiramiyas. Kraus and Kairi laughed together at how they hadn't even thought of using the phone as a means of communication. Because why the fuck would they? Somebody could be listening in on the other side, like the fucking Kinzo. What are you doing, Nason? I just wondered if maybe the phone was working. You dummy, Nason. Huh? What the fuck did he whisper to her? What? I know fucking Cannon knows more than he's letting on. At that point, Shannon let out a small, surprised cry. Kairi-sama! This phone, it's connected. What did you say? It was like when people moved out in an office, taking everything with them, leaving only the telephone behind. That's the feeling the phone gave off, having been left in the corner of the cell. The cord was wound into a coil, the tip of it being swallowed by the wall. And just looking at it, there was no reason to assume that it wasn't hooked up. But to think that it was actually was... Kairi took the receiver from Shannon and pressed it to her ear. Certainly the electric hum of a phone was a familiar sound. And this phone was certainly live. What good luck? Let's contact the police. Hold on. This is too good to be true. Could it be bugged? If they were planning a trick like that, normally they would cut the telephone line. There's actually a good possibility that they overlooked this. I really don't think so, Kairi. I think this smells like shit, Kairi. I think this all smells like shit. If they notice, they might actually cut the line this time. There's nothing we could tell the police that would be problematic for us if they overheard. That is also true, however. When you've got everything to lose and everything to gain, you might as well fucking fight on death ground. Surely that was true. The point of a wiretap is to overhear some important piece of information. But the way things were right then, she couldn't think of a single thing that would come up in a conversation to the outside world that might be troublesome to have overheard. Oh, I gotta be right back. I'm sorry. All right. I've had like 3 cups of coffee today. I'm pissing like non-fucking stop. It's crazy. And I had to get my meds. And I had to look for my vitamin D supplements. Misplaced. Fucked up. This song is really fucking groovy though. Like, I'm shaking my tushy a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, my BRB screen's down. I'm unmuted. We are good to go. Shake that tushy, baby girl. Oh my fucking god. She couldn't think of a single thing that would come up in a conversation to the outside world that might be troublesome to be overheard. Kyrie instantly concluded that it was more likely to be a mistake on Kinzo's part than a trap. You do have a point. I believe you start with 0 to make calls through the external line. Cannon-kun, I'm gonna make a phone call, so will you watch how things are out there for me? If you sense somebody coming, let me know. Yes! Cannon raced off towards the iron bars, silenced his breathing, and strained his ears. As everyone present watched her, Kyrie dialed 110. However, she pushed the hook down and redialed many times. It didn't seem to be working very well. Maybe you should try dialing the phone, the 1179. No, what was the number from the fucking that was written on the door at the end of episode 3? They should try dialing that shit. Maybe that's the right phone number to dial. The outside line begins with 0. 110 would be 0110, right? It doesn't seem to want to go through. Hand it over, I'll try to call. Kraus took the receiver in Kyrie's place and tested various things. Hey, this is Pizza Hut, how can I take your order? But in the end, they were unable to notify the police. The phone itself was definitely live, but the circuit was apparently cut somewhere. Does this mean that they were not so naive? So it's useless after all. It means our enemies aren't naive either. Kyrie let out a deep sigh, leaned against the wall, and hung her head for a while. As cool thinking as she was, for a brief moment, she may actually have had the naive hope that the phone might actually work. She sneered at herself mockingly for holding on to that naive hope for even a single moment. Then she remembered just what was happening here. Truth be told, even after being shown a scene like that right before her eyes, or rather exactly because of that, she still couldn't think of that gruesome mass murder as something real. It was less that she couldn't believe it, and more that she didn't want to. Ushiramiya Kinzo killed 6 family members. He summoned strange, witch-like, demon-like people right out of thin air. It was something like magic. I still think it's super cool that Kinzo drinks absinthe because it's literally it's called chasing the green fairy. That's what people have called like drinking absinthe is chasing the green fairy. And like he's kind of chasing a fairy of his own if you think about it. I don't know. I just think that's an interesting little connection. Right out of thin air, something like magic began to kill people one after another. Ellipses. It's just all so screwed up. Even though she definitely saw it, there was no way she could accept that spectacle. There's no way that's what happened. Those were obviously father's friends or something. They just hid somewhere in the dining hall beforehand and used some tricks to appear suddenly and fool us. There's no other way to explain something that's screwed up. As screwed up as that. When those 6 had their heads blown apart, a golden arrow had flown around and around the room. What the fuck? Why is it doing that? That's weird. Okay. I don't know why that line isn't going away. Something strange. Obviously, father's friends. But when those 6 had their heads blown open, that truly had looked like magic. Was that another thing we just saw wrong? There's no way it was magic. It definitely was some kind of setup. Since those heads were smashed, there's... Why is it doing this? Did that fix it? Okay. There's no doubt it was some kind of explosion. For example, a styrene toy plane like they sell at candy stores, painted gold, and with a powerful explosive loaded onto the end of it. However, though it had seemed to be flying about at random, Kyrie couldn't imagine that after being fired 6 times, each time had perfectly hit the victim square in the head, one after another. It couldn't be that there was a computer control system for finding and hitting targets, making it a high-tech styrene plane on the same level as a guided missile, right? Would he invest such a large amount of money into developing some stupid trick like that? For that insane sideshow? Does this take us back to the old, I wouldn't put it past father? A number of mysterious people appeared out of thin air. Man, I can't believe Natsui still died fucking glazing Kinzo. She will defend that old fuck to the very end. Six people had their heads demolished by a mysterious golden flying object. And the 5 of us were locked away in a mysterious dungeon by a mysterious set of pitfalls, or else put to sleep by some fainting poison dart. The family conference started a bit after 10 o'clock. It's only been a bit more than 30 minutes since then. Most likely. Even though I witnessed it myself, that event took place in such a short period of time, so I still can't understand it, and I still can't come to grips with it. For argument's sake, even if we did get a hold of the police, it would be impossible for anybody to accurately explain what we saw, even though I saw it just now. My brain's fried, and I have no confidence in what I saw myself. Kyrie tried her hardest to cheer herself out of her overwhelming confusion, just to hold on to her sanity. Damn it, what's going on here? Damn it, damn it! Kraus started to become desperate, hitting the hook multiple times and resetting the dial. Kraus also began feigning composure, but he was unable to hide his panic. The more he retried the dial, the more the pretense of serenity peeled away. Just pick the fucking lock. Give up on the fucking phone. I don't know what's going on anymore. Kyrie couldn't help but pray that the events that had just occurred were a dream. At the time, the look on Krause's face changed. Oh, I got through. It's ringing. Really, Kraus-san? I see. How shallow, old man. Since we can't contact the police, the external line has probably been cut, but he failed to sever the internal line. The internal line? Kraus-san, where did you call? The guest house. I'm calling the room where Jessica and the rest are staying. Ah. Hello? Hello? It's me. You're... Goda? Is Jessica there? Is she safe? Kraus-sama! Oh, I'm so glad you're safe. Yes, Lady Jessica and the other children are here as well, safe and unharmed. Dad! Is it Dad? I'm so glad you're okay. Is Mom okay? Is she there? You're... Kraus choked on his words. Kraus had clearly seen that Natsui's head crushed, had seen her killed right before his eyes. Eventually, he was going to have to tell that to Jessica. Just tell her. Lost his words. But even if that was an answer under these circumstances, I don't know about your mother. Let's pray for her safety. For now, I'm just glad you're safe. I wonder why the game has decided now that we're gonna get a bunch of Kraus plot development. I think it's interesting. I understand. I'm sorry for asking. Jessica's voice was filled with tears. Kraus was certain now. Jessica and the rest had heard everything, start to finish, after meeting up with Goda and Kumasawa at the guest house. When they learned that 6 people had been killed, they must have been anxious to rush over to the dining hall. Luckily, they'd been able to call before they'd stormed off towards the mansion. Kraus was relieved at this good timing during such a tragedy. Maybe you should tell them about the Actually, I guess she already told them. We have Kairi-san and Dr. Nanjo, as well as Shannon and Cannon here. We've been locked in a place that's like a dungeon, but don't worry. We'll figure something out. A dungeon? Where? We'll come and save you. Unfortunately, we can't figure out where this is either. We think it may have been under the dining hall, but that might not be true. Anyway, Jessica, you must stay where you are. You've heard about what happened from Goda and Kumasawa, yes? Yeah, grandfather. Everyone. Grandfather isn't in a sane state of mind right now. If you encounter him, you'll be in danger. You might be killed. You mustn't even think about trying to come and save us. We'll take care of ourselves. Then what should we do? Damn you, grandfather. How dare you do that to Mom and the rest? I'm gonna kill that undying bastard. Jessica, if you talk like that, you'll sadden your mother. Those aren't the words of a lady. That's absolutely fucking insane to say. Anyway, put your own safety first. Lock all the guest house doors. I don't think that's really gonna fucking matter. If Kinzo is the fucking key. I think they should barricade themselves in a fucking room. But you mustn't overestimate how safe that will make you. The large window in the first floor lounge might get broken. Stay in your room and use the bed to make a barricade. There's a toilet and a fridge in there too, right? You should be able to stay holed up until tomorrow morning. Listen up, I'll say it again. Don't think of doing anything violent. Don't even think about trying to take revenge from Mom. Only think of hiding and getting through this without provoking our enemies. Yeah. Dad, After that, Goda took the phone and was firmly told to supervise the kids as well as an adult. Goda, with his face covered in cold sweat, repeatedly replied, yes, sir, in an excessively tense voice. From there, Kairi took the receiver and spoke with Battler, and when Shannon and Cannon got their turns, George and Jessica answered, "Oh, that's nice." Following that pattern, Nanjo and Kumasawa picked up as well, so that all the members of both sides took the receiver in turn, confirming that everyone was safe for now, even if their location was unknown, and encouraging each other, coming to an understanding on the current situation for both sides. They wanted to talk forever, but now was not the time to chat. Kraus explained that they would be hanging up for now, and those in the guest house consented. "If anything happens, we'll call. Wait by the phone, so you can pick it up quickly. Again, be careful. You mustn't do anything rash." "Yeah, I understand. As long as you and Cannon-kun and the others are okay, that's good enough for me. We'll do our best. Stay safe." "Yes, of course. Well then, I'm hanging up for now. Be on your guard." With that, the phone call ended. Goda and the rest of the men quickly descended to the first floor, closed the shutters, and secured the sturdy locks on the doors. However, just as Kraus had worried, there was nothing that could be done about the beautiful wide window in the first floor lounge. If someone broke that, it would be easy to get inside. It wouldn't be hard for someone like Kinzo, who hadn't hesitated at committing murder, to invade the first floor. It's likely that Grandfather and his followers will be armed. Locking ourselves in our room is our best bet, and moreover, our only method of forming a barricade. It's painful that we have no choice but to hole up in a sealed room. But if our enemies are carrying guns, that's the only method we have left to us. I have heard that the Master has a collection of working guns. That's right, guns. That was a gun. If so, it must have been a horribly powerful gun. We can't contend with that at all. It takes a lot of force to smash one's head open, right? So it might be a magnum bullet or something like that. That'd probably go through the flimsy door like it was nothing. Bum 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 bum. I love that fucking bass. If so, then that's even more of a reason to hold out in our room. Let's slide the bed in place and lock the window. Block the window too. Yeah. If we do that much, then there's no matter how many guns they've got, they shouldn't be able to raid us. Maybe grab some fucking knives first. Grab some knives from the fucking kitchen. All we could do is this passive, one-sided defense. Damn it. Dealing a finishing blow to Dad and even capturing Kyrie? That's gonna cost you, damn geezer. Impossible. There's no way we can compete with them. Besides, it's not just the Master. He has his underlings, too. There might even be more of them. Just, what are they? Battler was filled to the... Shut the fuck up, Goda. Just take a fucking chill pill. You're clearly fucking useless in this scenario. Battler was filled to the brim with the urge to get revenge for Rudolph. And to rush out of here to save Kyrie. But just by looking at how terrified Goda was, there was no doubt in him that this would be reckless. That's gonna be hard on you, right, Anaki? What do you mean by that, Sid? Like genre? Because then it's just game music, which is like its own thing. But stylistically, it takes a lot of things from all kinds of genres. Obviously, like there's classical pieces. There's more like thriller type movie soundtrack songs like this. There's some jazzier songs. It's all over the place, really, so. There's some like more ambient sounds too. Like it's definitely Japanese like video game OST type music. And yet you've got hold up here, damn it. Of course, I'm torn up about it too. It's not like I can remain calm with both of my parents murdered. But specifically because of that, I have to remain calm. Do you think our dead parents would want us to die in vain? There's no way they would. They'd want for at least their children to escape. So I will survive. And I'll report this to the police and uncover everything. I'll leave my enemies to the courts. That is my revenge. There's no way our parents would want us to die taking revenge for them. Right? You're right. It's just as you say. Damn it, you old bastard. What's this about a ceremony? If we're supposed to be sacrifices for something like that, then we'll escape no matter what it takes, ruining this precious ritual of yours. That's right. Besides, you still have Kairi-san, Battler-kun. And I still have Shannon. Anyway, let's be cautious and wait for our chance. Any careless actions on our part might just end up causing harm to those who've been captured. Hostages, huh? But grandfather captured them so he could use them as sacrifices, right? If we don't go and save them, then are we just waiting for them to get killed? We don't even know where the dungeon they're being held in is. Shannon and Ken didn't know about it, and of course Goda-san and Kumasawa-san don't know either. The possibility that they're in a secret location that only grandfather knows of is incredibly high. Under these circumstances, aimlessly wandering about would be practically suicidal. I understand. Still, damn it. Are you saying the only thing we can do is stay confined here until something happens? Battler-sama, I understand how you feel, but let's put safety first. From what Kraus-sama said, they seem to have been in a fairly old cell. There may be a way to break the bars somehow. The wise choice of action now is to believe in them and wait. Grandfather has a number of subordinates, and they're all armed, correct? Yes, he does. And they're probably all armed. Goda had been able to say that Kinzo had comrades with him. But he hadn't been able to mention that they were mostly young women, like witches, who would use strange magic to murder. If he had said that, it would only have cast doubt on his sanity. Well, good thing there's Kumasawa there, too. No, not only that, but he himself still couldn't understand what he had seen and was doubting his own sanity. But regardless of sex or appearance, regardless of whether it was done with magic or a gun, the fact that those girls had followed Kinzo's orders and killed 6 people in an instant was an unshakable truth. If that group came to attack the guest house as well, what would happen? Just closing the doors and windows like this was surely meaningless. Goda and Kumasawa. The only thing left for those two who had witnessed that massacre in the dining hall was to cradle their heads without knowing how to interpret what they had seen. Kumasawa-san, are you okay? Want some tea? Ha 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 ha. Thank you very much. Thank you. I would not take any fucking tea that Maria's giving you. I think that's so fucked up. Please avoid Maria tea. I'm sorry, but may I be left with my thoughts for a little while? No! Fuck you, Kumasawa. Stay here. Fuck you and your personal thoughts. Maria tried to be nice, but it seemed that Kumasawa still hadn't been able to clear away her confusion. Maria, thanks for being so considerate. Let's let Kumasawa-san rest for now. Man, I hope Kumasawa and Goda aren't in on this. Like, I've already connected Kumasawa to Virgilia, but what about, like, Goda and Ronove? Or because I used to think it was Genji and Ronove, but no, I don't think so. I guess it would be Genji and Ronove. I almost don't want to trust them and what they think. Fuck, this is so tricky. Jessica was also worried about the shock those two must have received after witnessing such a tragedy. But her wildest dreams couldn't even come close to the unbelievable scene Kumasawa had witnessed. Nevertheless, with her mother murdered and her father captured, it wasn't as though Jessica could stay calm either. She sealed her anxiety and sadness using her anger towards Kinzo and walked irritatedly around the room. Kumasawa-san, is Mom really dead? Yes. I've never seen such a horrible way to die before. Is it possible that she's still alive? And if we fix her up, we can save her? It's not possible for a person to have something like that done to their head and live. Is it? Yeah, you're right. There's no need for first aid. Once your head's smashed, usually. When Goda had come flying into the guest house, he had overcome with agitation, told about the massacre in the dining hall without concealing anything. Except for the part about witches and magic, which they themselves still couldn't believe. In other words, he hadn't even sugar-coated the cold-blooded way in which Natsui and the others had died. It was too late now, but Kumasawa regretted the fact that they'd obviously said too much. However, while lightly shaking her head with a slightly painful laugh, Jessica spoke. Actually, thanks to what you told us, I was able to stay level-headed. If you'd avoided mentioning the part about her head being smashed, I would have thought that she might still be alive. Then I would have run off towards the mansion, met grandfather, and might have gotten killed. Do they want the kids to stay in the guest house then? That sliver of hope could have been fatal in the end. So I'm grateful. I'm truly sorry. I'm sorry we didn't choose our words more carefully. Don't worry about that right now. There's nothing we can do for Mom, but Dad's still alive. Canon-kun and Shannon and Aunt Kyrie and Dr. Nanjo too. I want to save them somehow, so we shouldn't do anything unnecessary that might make things worse for them. The most helpful thing we can do right now might be to wait by the phone. I might receive a phone call asking them to create a diversion while the others escaped. Or the others might discover their location and call for rescue. Jessica understood. In order to act promptly when that time came, the only thing they could do for the time being was to wait in this room. I wonder if, like, I wonder if Angie's gonna find that dungeon. Once they had finished inspecting the downstairs area and locking up, George, Battler, and Goda returned. Each was holding various objects. George had things like drinks, canned food, crackers, and other types of snacks he had found in the lounge and a storage room, as well as a first aid kit. They were all consumables that would be essential during a siege. Goda had a large folding ladder and carpentry tools. Those were to seal the door from inside, just in case. If it came to it, the ladder was for escaping out the window. Battler had brought up objects that could be used as edged weapons or poles. In addition to the obvious kitchen knife, there was a disassembled table leg that could be used like a club. And a pole roughly the size of a person, which he'd apparently made by taking apart a hat stand. Even though the pole had no point, it could surely be used like a spear. There was a good chance that their enemies had guns, so it was dubious whether these would be of any use, but it was still better than not having them. And if these could give them at least a little peace of mind, then they'd be useful for their calming effect. Then, the bed and the sofa were placed up against the door, barricading it. They didn't go so far as to seal it up with nails. There was still a chance that Krause and the others would escape and come to meet up with them. They'd apparently set up a barricade at the top of the stairs as well. That's smart. It had been set up in a way that would create a racket, so it would serve as a warning alarm as well. This is some fucking Home Alone shit. What the fuck? That had apparently been Battler's idea. I love Battler. For that reason, they turned the TV off. This way, if the first floor window were to be broken, they would hear. Once the switch had been turned, all that was left was an eerie silence. Well, let me ask this question. Is this the only room in the guest house with the lights on the second floor? Because if I were them, I would have turned on as many rooms in the guest house lights so it wouldn't be clear where they could be. Because elsewise, they're just like, here we are, right here, come and kill us. I mean, the sound of violent wind and rain. Were they going to have to spend the whole night being crushed by such suspense? The boat would come tomorrow morning. However, judging by the weather report, most of tomorrow was going to be covered in the typhoon, and the boat probably, oh my god, it's still the first night. Oh my fucking god. I totally forgot. It's not even the second day. They're so fucked. It keeps getting faster, I swear. The typhoon was set to pass by in the morning of the day after tomorrow. In other words, the boat would be arriving in the morning after next, the morning of October 6th. And right now, it was late at night on October 4th. They would have to spend more than 30 hours on this island, with Kinzo turned cold-blooded murderer and his weird companions prowling about. Maybe Kinzo has a twin. Even with the shutters closed, there would definitely be a little bit of light seeping out. I wonder if Kinzo's the only one in the family that has 6 toes, or if there's another character that might have 6 toes. It might let the enemy know that they were hiding here. Battler suggested that it might be best to turn off the lights. They'd already been overwhelmed by a ghastly feeling just from turning off the TV. There wasn't anyone who directly challenged his proposal, but then again, there wasn't a single other person. You have 2 options. You can either turn off all the lights or you can turn on all the lights. So I would go into the other rooms before you barricade and like start turning on lights. Ugh, we can't watch TV. Yeah, sorry, but you'll have to bear with it. We can't just let the sound of the enemy breaking in slip by. Boring. Even though she had been told of her mother's death, Maria alone didn't feel an approaching sense of danger. Yeah, why would she? She just seemed to be upset that the TV had been turned off. Even though she's in such a bizarre situation, can she not share in our sense of danger? Is it because she's so young? To Battler, even this faintly unsettling feeling from such a young girl made him sense that there was something very eerie about Maria. Yeah, I think there is too. The more this game goes on, the less I fucking trust Maria. Especially after watching her freaking pull her mother apart like she was a fucking Stretch Armstrong. That said, we've already done all we can. Do you think we'll be able to do anything about the bars? Unfortunately, they're tougher than expected. I don't know when these were made, but there's no problem with their lifetime guarantee. Why does he always fucking talk like a sales douche? Is that his only fucking personality trait? Is that he just talks like this for no fucking reason? God, he's such a fucking asshole. It's so unreal. These truly were built rather well. Kyrie chuckled softly. They had no moves that they could make, but she had calmed just a little. This place is just like the capture pile of a chess game. That's one way to look at it. This game has a fuck ton of chess analogies. They need somebody to get fucking queened. So are there no remaining moves left to us? Not yet. It's still too early to give up. Grab the fucking phone, take out the copper wire, and try to pick the fucking lock. That's what I would do. Still, if we get to find out where this fucking place is, I'm gonna lose my shit. If Winchester theory is finally proven to be correct, I will lose my shit. It will be the ultimate moment. Take the phone and fuck it. Fuck the phone. If we stop thinking, we might as well stop breathing, right? Exactly. Chess pieces in the capture pile may serve no purpose, but in shogi, they can be quite significant. Thank God I know fuck all about shogi. Except that it's in Persona 5. Just one captured pawn should be able to put pressure on the opponent. I see. But still, there's nothing that can be done about these bars. For us, maybe. But if we can figure out where this is and contact Goda-san, he might be able to come and save us. I see. But that would mean putting Goda-san in danger. And if that happens, I would be also worried about the children in the guest house, alone without a full-grown adult male. When you're afraid of risk, it's alright to bide your time until the price starts to go up. Why does he always fucking talk like this? I always gotta talk about money and sales, because I'm a fucking sales guy. Goda's max usefulness being his linebacker's stature. I think he was the one that pinned Red-Eyed Cannon to the wall. Yeah, linebackers are fucking huge. Yeah. However, if you're too afraid to cut your losses, you might end up with just a scrap of paper. Oh, like the one that went through Kinzo's door? Oh, shit. Though in this case, that represents our lives. And our dignity as parents, right? After talking big like that during the telephone call, telling them that they should behave because we'll manage something on our own, we can't just start asking for help right away. That would be very uncool. Yeah, shoot, Eric. I can probably pronounce most words pretty well. I'm pretty okay. I'm gonna be choosing Ava because Ava knows capoeira. And that's enough for me. If she knows capoeira and the rest don't, I expect her to be like fucking Uma Thurman in Kill Bill and just fucking take them all down. I've never seen fucking Kill Bill. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. Awesome. That would be very uncool. By this point, I've long thrown out such useless pride. Why don't we put our heads together? Where is this? Is it really underneath the dining hall? We're in a really. I would choose Kyrie because I would at least like her to. I would at least like for her to be against me and trying to kill me. Yeah, she would be scary. She's like the one I'm the most scared of. Maybe besides Ava. Natsui's just fucking whatever. Rosa's only good at beating little kids. But I feel like it's one of these two. It's either or. As long as you're under 18, or as long as you're over 18, Rosa should pose no real threat to you. Oh, that is true though. She did. She was dropping those fucking goats. It was the only time she was ever nice to Maria. Still, what's really bothering me is we're in this like weird truth pickle right now where Goda and Kumasawa have not acknowledged like the whole thing with like the holes and the pitfalls and like what they saw, like the magic shit that happened, and tell the others that. I'm breaking the rule and choosing Sakutaro because I want to say Oryu with him. Oryu? Fuck. So the truth as to what actually fucking happened in this parlor is totally beyond me. Kraus, Kyrie, and Nanjo began to discuss this further. Oh fuck. Oh, okay, never mind, we're fine. Cannon was squatting by the bars, silently trying to sense anyone's presence. This dude's like a fucking bloodhound, I swear to God. Just as he had been ordered, Shannon came close to him, and they both squatted down together. Do you sense anyone? Yes. What? They haven't focused their attention in this direction, but there's somebody relatively close by. Is it human? I think it's the goats. Their breathing is rather noisy. Cannon's ability to sense the presence of others was several levels above that of a human. This has been mentioned before, actually. Because Cannon's been spying on people. He was spying on the Ushira Miyas way back in fucking episode 1. He was spying on the original family conference and telling Kinzo shit. He does this, like, a lot. I feel like my senses are, like, the total fucking opposite. Like, I can't notice anything. I have no fucking spatial awareness. I have, like, the spatial awareness of a piece of coral. I'm just totally fucking aloof. I have good hearing but bad auditory processing. I kind of agree. I think I'm a little similar. But I've got all kinds of fucking processing issues, so it's not really that surprising. Cannon's ability to sense the presence of others was several levels above that of a human. He said that their breathing was noisy, but Krause and the rest couldn't even pick up the slightest hint of it. Therefore, if he had obediently reported it, they would have merely doubted Cannon's ears. They got us, didn't they? It's rare to think that they captured us without killing us. This time, I think I'm right. I think these two do have memories from the past fucking episodes. I mentioned it earlier. This time Beatrice-sama didn't make an appearance. And the master left his study. I don't have a clue what's going on. Eric underscore 4333. I know. Whatever happens or changes, it's all for the witch's fickle entertainment. Whatever exactly, I'm 100%. I can't believe I was right about that prediction I made. I think I said it at the start of the episode. Or maybe back in episode 3. I don't remember when I said it. In the end, nothing will change. I wonder if we'll be able to go to the Golden Land this time. Who knows? We have a high rate of losing. Come to think of it, it's very rare for us to survive the first twilight together. I get the feeling that it's incredibly unusual for us to be able to talk together like this, even though the ceremony's already begun. This is actually, I think, the first time they've both been alive for it. Except maybe the second Twilight? I don't quite remember. I know Cannon was alive, and then he was killed, and the whole thing with, like, what happened to his body? What happened with Red Eyes Cannon, and all that shit. But, like, fuck. These one-winged eagle servants are total fucking assholes. I get the feeling it's incredibly unusual for us to be able to talk together like this, though the ceremony's already begun. Maybe. But that's... But even that's just for the witch's entertainment, I'll bet. I'm fucking Beatrice. What if I'm Beatrice? And I'm the one being entertained by this. You? I am Beatrice. I can think of anything other than her letting us live just a little longer to ridicule us, since we usually drop out right into the beginning. I wonder if we'll be able to reach the Golden Land again. I'm sure we won't make it there. If we hold on to any foolish hope, we'll get taken advantage of again. That's right. Last time you got taken advantage of, didn't you? I'm an idiot. Cannon made a sour look and turned his head. Shannon laughed softly and apologetically leaned towards his shoulder. But I'm glad Milady is safe. She's only escaped from the first twilight. She might just be waiting for an even crueler death later on. What about you, Nason? Aren't you glad George-sama's safe? It's still a big fucking mystery, by the way, what Cannon's name is. Because we know her real name is Sayo. But what the fuck is Cannon's real name? It'd be nice if you two could reach the Golden Land together. Thank you. I wish the same for you and Milady as well. I wasn't hoping for anything like that. It's just as you say. The witch is only having fun, dangling prizes in front of people and watching them vainly try to get them. I'm sure no one will be able to go to the Golden Land. If I wish to reach the Golden Land with Milady, then that person will find it funny and certainly never let us reach that place. Oh, the best love is unrequited love. It's not unrequited love. It's the love of a servant and his master. That's very Middle Ages. I talked about this during my Kingdom Come Deliverance streams that I did back in way back in fucking June or May, June. But the biggest fucking fad in medieval fan fiction was writing knights who would fall in love with their queens and shit. They go crazy for that stuff. Very medieval canon to be into Jessica. Very medieval. I never finished streaming Kingdom Come Deliverance. I went on vacation and then I just never fucking went back to it. You're right. Beatrice-sama is thinking about which order of sacrifices would be the most interesting. The whole thing about them being chosen at random is just a blatant lie. I've said that before. I definitely said that at the beginning of episode 4, or maybe 3. I've said that before. That swindling witch. All that about having any wish you want granted in the Golden Land is probably just a lie, too. That's not true. The Golden Land is a wonderful place. Have you been there? Only for a little bit. No, even that was probably just a joke of Beatrice-sama's. What's it like there? Well, it's a wonderful place. I can't really explain it well. It's like a world from a pleasant dream. A paradise-like place with roses blooming. I keep talking about fucking roses in this game. With roses blooming all over the place, butterflies dancing about, something like that. It's not a place with a tangible image like that. It's really like the inside of a dream. When you're there, it's very gentle, very peaceful, and you're allowed to sleep as long as you want. Like when you wake up early on a day off, lying on a futon. Sunlight comes in through the cracks in the curtains, and you think you'll have to wake up soon, but then you realize it's your day off and you can go back to sleep. It's a place where you could feel like that. I think it'd be wasted on me. Waking up in an accident, even though it's your day off, is something that only you would do, Nason. So, well, when I was there, it was very satisfying and very calm. When I returned to this world, even though I had just been there a second ago, I couldn't remember it well. It's like when you can't remember a dream you were just having. But I still remember that it was a very calm and quiet world. That's it. What the heck? That golden land she's always bragging about isn't anything great at all. I thought it was a place where all your wishes come true. That's right. It's a place where all your wishes will be granted. Oh, maybe that's not quite it. It might be better to say it's a place where you won't wish for anything. For example, Canon-kun, if you were cold and wished you had a jacket, you'd be happy to be given one. Or if you were wet and you wanted an umbrella, but if you were in a warm room to begin with, there wouldn't even be a reason to want a jacket, right? That's what the Golden Land is like. There's no need to even wish for more, to even wish for most wishes. It's a world where everything is calm. Oh, the seagulls are crying. I forget if that's part of the track or it's like some background sound effect. I think it's part of the track, actually, now that I think about it. You could even say it's a place that transcends the concept of having your wishes granted will bring happiness. A world released from everything. It sounds like somewhat like a religious world. And there, everything is equal. Anything that can think is equal. There are no humans, furniture, nor witches. There I was an equal to everyone. There was no longer any need to feel ashamed that I was furniture. It was honestly a happy world where all humans and even witches were equal. I can't really remember it well, but I have the feeling that when I was there, I was equal to even Beatrice-sama, and we were good friends. If that witch is there, it can't be much of a paradise. So, you want to go to that Golden Land with George-sama? Strange. The Golden Land is a utopia where you can be pleased with everything, right? Wouldn't you be content even if George-sama wasn't there? The Golden Land is very calm, peaceful, and everything is equal, but actually, happiness alone is left out. It isn't a happy world. Of course, just by being peaceful, calm, and equal, it's an incredibly happy world, but I guess you could say that it's a world of zero, where you're released from all negative worries. The human world is filled with negatives, so of course a zero world is incredibly happy, but it's still zero. What a luxurious problem to have. This feels really fucking important. I almost feel like the Golden Land is like Maria's fucking dream. I don't know. I think about Maria more and more as this game goes on. Fuck. I think I don't fall into a trap more as I stick a foot into it, let it bite me a little bit, and then I pull it back and be like, oh, I could never think that. I don't know. I just I don't want to make. I have a bunch of ideas, but thinking too metaphorically, not practically enough. Plus, there's that whole thing with like the red dialogue confirming that there was a Beatrice talking to Kinzo. Like that's the other side of the argument. That's the other side. Maybe it has something to do with Kuadorian. Maybe Maria's been to Kuadorian. I guess she has been to Kuadorian. This shit's fucking crazy, this fucking game. It's something like this. When you're nodding off on your quiet holiday morning, if the person you love the most is next to you and holding your hand... I know, there are many Beatrices, unfortunately. The game has literally confirmed this with Ava Beatrice and Angie Beatrice. This isn't like a spoiler or anything, but... like, Beatrice is something you become. That's the question, isn't it? Why? If the person if you love the most is next to you and holding your hand, then it becomes even greater, more wonderful happiness, something like that. Sorry, your Nason is too dumb and to be any good at apologies. In other words, to you, the greatest happiness would be reaching that world together with George Sama. Yes, and surely for you, it would be reaching that world together with Milady. Don't be released from our worries in a fair world. It's like some kind of strange religion. I'm more worldly minded. I imagined a world where we would be given some magical attention. I imagined a world where we would be given some magic medicine, and we could be rewarded. Oh my god, I'm struggling with reading for no fucking reason. And we could be reborn as humans or something like that. If you go, you'll understand. If Beatrice Sama really is a fickle person, then surely someday she'll let you get a glimpse of it too. If so, then you'll be able to understand my analogy. So that dialogue, which... what if the Golden Land is the fucking... wait, where did they have that dialogue? Where did Beatrice and Shannon have that dialogue? Was it at the beach? I don't remember. Fuck. To the LP archive, indeed. Let's see here. Fuck! What if it's called the Golden Land because it's the beach and like the sand is gold? I don't know. How did they get here? I'm gonna put a pin in that for now. And that to me comes back to the idea of the seagulls and the sea, and the whole idea whether the sea is blue or gray. Fuck. Ellipses. Well, I'm not holding my breath. At any rate, it seems like game over for us this time already. I'll hope for another chance. You're right. If we cling to any over-ambitious hopes, Beatrice Sama will take advantage of us. Fuck, I'm thinking. God damn it. It might be best just to stop thinking. And let fate take care of us. Thanks, Shannon, for telling me to stop thinking. We can just be simple chess pieces. No matter what we think or don't think, we can't escape from the witch's chessboard. Our role is now just to wait and see how we'll be tortured to death. For us, the dream of the Golden Land is too empty. You're right. Sorry. Cannon shrugged his shoulders and told Shannon to leave him alone because she was in the way of his duty, distancing himself from her. Realizing her thoughtlessness in bringing up such an inappropriate topic and instead hurting Cannon, Shannon bit her lower lip and stared at the ground. I feel like I'm like putting the narrative together a little bit, but I'm not solving the murders. That's what's... Okay, Mr. I will say no more. Then you will say this. This game is making me lose my fucking cup. It's so good, though. This is like the best game I've played all fucking year. Shannon wouldn't bother him anymore. She went off and crouched down in a corner by herself. Thought I was analyzing the narrative. Yeah. At that moment, Cannon perked up. It was like the ears of a cat when it reached to a strange sound. Holy shit, Catboy Cannon. What's wrong? Kraus-sama, someone's coming. What? They ended their conversation and strained their ears. For a while, they couldn't hear anything. But eventually, they were able to hear the shuffling sounds of a large group of people walking. So they've come. Time to pay the piper, or perhaps this is our first and last chance. I shall talk to Kinzo-san. I will try to somehow find out where this place is. We're counting on you. During the last phone call, Kairi had asked what the time was over at the guest house was. By doing that, Kairi had learned that it was the same as her watch, and she had learned that their watches hadn't been set back. So how the fuck did they get there? Winchester theory. It wasn't just the clocks on the wall in the guest house. Several people's watches, including George's and Goda's, had matched. If that was the case, then it had only been a few minutes between the time of the massacre in the dining hall and the time they had been transported to the dungeon. Not enough time had passed for them to be knocked out and carried away. Then, were those really pitfalls, meaning this was the area directly under the dining hall? All they could do was pray that Nanjo could find out where this was. They're coming. There's probably 4 people. The master and the 3 of those who appeared in the dining hall. That's enough. You come back here as well. We'll deal with the rest. Shannon-chan, sorry, but can I have you sit by the phone? Yeah, I kind of agreed with I was gonna say something about it kind of reminding me of Nirvana. But can I have you sit by the phone? Hide it with your skirt. Yeah, yes. The shuffling came close, and there was a sound of a large door being opened in the hallway. The light they were apparently carrying illuminated the hall, stroking the walls with sharp, razor-like shadows. And then, the light from the lantern they held illuminated the prisoners through the bars. The bars' sharp shadows divided them lengthwise. There were 4 silhouettes. It was Kinzo, Ronave, Virgilia, and Gap. Silence, everyone. Please welcome the head of the Ushirimiya family, Lord Goldsmith. Goldsmith? It's father's pen name. It seems he always signs it when writing those bizarre grimoires. Kinzo's made English style. Shouldn't that be Gold Warehouse? What more is a warehouse than a place to keep things in? They're in Kinzo's brain. Fuck, I love reading this diva. However, I give birth to gold and use my craftsmanship to further increase its worth. Don't you think Smith is much more fitting? True enough. I apologize for butting in. Hinzo-san, just what is going on? Where in the world is this? I love how he's on the other side of the bars. Oh, my friend, can't you remember? True. You may have never entered the prison, but you should remember walking through this corridor. Huh? Huh? You don't mean... Do you have an idea? But, well, it's unthinkable. Firstly, we fell through a pitfall and we were locked up here only after a few minutes. Not only is the distance too great, that's physically impossible. For a human, right? Father, is this the mansion? To think that the mansion had a basement like this. Kraus? Wasn't there a place whose existence you all whispered of, in which you followed me after several times trying to find? This is that place. No, to be correct, this is its basement. They're in the basement of Kuwadorian. Oh, that's where they are. Nanjo's been to Kuwadorian? What? Write that one down the dock for me. Sure will. I've not been writing down enough shit at all. And I've been having some... I think I tweeted about this. I think I've been pretty on it these past couple streams and figuring shit out. Could this place be the basement of Kuwadorian? Why the fuck has Kinzo never said anything this whole fucking time? Why? A splendid observation. This is indeed the basement of Kuwadorian. Any reason, I don't know. Kuwadorian? You don't mean Father's rumored hidden mansion? It really exists? This mansion was constructed for the sole use of my beloved witch, Beatrice. It's truly a shame that I cannot guide you to the above-ground sections. It is such a beautiful and elegant mansion. How lovely, just the two of them alone in a mansion with a prison like this. I guess Father's tastes are a bit more than I can stomach. Kairi-san. Perhaps it would be wiser to refrain from such rude comments. But I agree. If a mansion I was given had this kind of dungeon in it, that'd shake me out of even a century-long love, and I'd take anything of value and run. So you don't have an interest in this kind of thing. And here I was thinking you went head over heels for it. Of course I'd go head over heels. Like if I get a collar or something for a birthday present. But only if he's hot. Boom. Silence. Perhaps you could use a gag more than a collar right now, right? Oh, you have an interest in that too. You sure aren't picky, Leah. Leah? Oh, Leah, Virgilia. Okay. Don't just go around shortening people's names on your own. Enough of you noisy women. Are you telling me you'd like to be locked up in the same cell? I apologize, Master. This old body of mine would not be able to stand such a cold prison. You know, Kumasawa says things like, this old body of mine. Fuck. Maybe I should be connecting Gop and Goda. Fuck! But there's 3 people that are with Kinzo. Fuck. This old body of mine would not be able to stand such a cold prison. Or my lumbago. Or some mackerel or some shit. I don't fucking know. Virgilia quickly apologized, but Gap and Ronove merely laughed together. It was like they thought they alone couldn't be imprisoned. Or else that even if someone tried to imprison them, it would be pointless. A prison is a place from which the captured cannot escape. That implies a strong will and love to not let them go for a lifetime. It's not even worth speaking of love to a woman you could give up on if she ran away. A woman who makes you so insane that you don't want to let her escape to the point of binding her in chains. Because she was worthy of that. She was a love worth sacrificing my life. I will not ask you to understand. No one can bind me. I will not be bound. I don't want to be loved. I want to love. Let's kill this dumb man. Here's how Umineko's gonna end. It'll be the new game. Battler's gonna ask Genji to open the fucking door, and then he's gonna pull out his gun and shoot Kinzo in the head, and that will be enough to stop all this shit from happening. Because this is all his fucking fault. This shit's all his fault. Everything is this old fucking bastard's fault. I'm so sick of him. I'm so sick of his bullshit. I feel the same as Goldsmith. That's why I understand the madness of your love. That would be fucking wicked. Love and madness are 2 sides of the same coin, or so they say. How bothersome. But learning where we are so easily was a big step. We'll ask the details later, but it seems you know more about this place, right, Dr. Nanjo? Yes. If that hallway is the underground passage beneath Kuadorian, then if we go straight down it, it will become a long tunnel. If we stay on that, we should be able to return to the mansion. And if we could just do something about these bars, we could go home. Father, what are you planning to do with us? As I have already declared, you become sacrifices for the later twilights. There are conveniently 5 people here. Exactly enough hostages for the 5 gougings. See, it's time for us to pay the piper. Eventually. That's not why I've come to visit you this time, so relax. Besides, I believe I've said it already. If one of my grandchildren is deemed suitable to inherit everything from me, then the ceremony will be called off. In other words, your lives will be spared. What are you planning to do to the children? I shall give them a test. A test to see if they are suitable to be the successor or not. What if he's going to test the kids to see which one could be Beatrice? Maybe that's what he's trying to do. Like how Beatrice has successors. Well, we're skipping some here, but... If not even one of them can surprise me, I'll call the ceremony off. And if there isn't anyone suitable, what are you planning on doing with the children? There's no need to worry about that. After all, you will all be sacrificed first. How could anything that happens after that concern you? Trust your fates to your own children. Your children, the embodiment of what you've born, taught, and raised. They should be the most suitable ones for you to entrust with your fate. Don't look so worried, Kraus. Believe in the daughter that you brag is worth 10 billion yen. Exactly. Children are the embodiment of their parents. It's fitting that we put our fates in their hands. That applies even to you, father, right? This girl has guts. What a waste on Rudolph. Kairi-san, it would be best not to aggravate him too much. I agree. Let's bear with it for now. That's right. After all, we're just fish on the chopping board. There's nothing we can do now. Ha! Though you could insult me with such vigor, I don't dislike that kind of woman, see? Beatrice was like that too in the beginning. Master, perhaps we should get back to the main topic. We've been off track for a while now. Ah, yes. There was that. Sorry, my friend. Well then, back to the main event. For that, I've prepared a phone. Shannon, how clever of you. You don't have to hide it any longer. That's something I arranged for. My apologies. Shannon quickly withdrew herself, and the telephone was revealed. Kraus, call the grandchildren in the guest house. Tell them of the test and the start of my trial. Ronove mentioned for Kraus to pick up the receiver. And if I say no... And why do you think you're in a position to negotiate? If you don't make the call, then the grandchildren won't even be given a chance. The Ushiramiya family will end here, and I'll sacrifice you all right away. He'd be lucky to become sacrifices right away. Don't you even think it'd be more painful to watch the children get sacrificed first, before your very eyes? Gap. The master is the one who decides the sacrifice order. Is Kinzo the one deciding it? I mean, I guess he's the one spinning the wheel. Leah, you just tried to shorten my name, didn't you? Gap. I did not. I told you not to shorten other people's names on your own. Women truly are noisy. Umineko naku koro ni. Rondo, the Witch of Reasoning. Alright, I thought we would go back to this. Oh shit. We're gonna meet Nanjo's son. We're gonna learn some more shit about Dr. Nanjo. Fuck, I knew never to trust that fucking Dr. Nanjo. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. I'm so fucking vindicated. Every fucking goddamn time. The clinic that Nanjo had opened and later passed on to his son still existed on Niijima. This aged doctor was Nanjo's son, but the atmosphere about him was very different. Dr. Nanjo too, baby! I love all these random shitty characters we're getting. Nanjo's son inherited the Nanjo clinic. Unlike Nanjo, he seems to be a more sobered, indifferent person. Nanjo's granddaughter died? That sucks. Once had a daughter afflicted with an incurable disease, but unfortunately she wasn't able to live out her natural lifespan. Nanjo's granddaughter died. Mayasuki Nanjo. Masayuki. And I think his name's Tenjo or something. Why is he called attending physician? Well, his son is just... Okay. I'm truly sorry to say this after you've come all this way, but I've nothing in particular to tell you. Nanjo's son said that very indifferently. After the accident on that island was taken up by the broadcasts and most indiscreet. After the incident on that island was taken up by the broadcasts in a most indiscreet manner, even my father, who was Mr. Ushiramiya's doctor and friend, was focused upon by many with a wholly regrettable interest. All of it was without proof, and they even managed to defile all of my father's previous achievements. I still feel a great deal of resentment because of that. I think that's understandable. Same thing happened to me. Oh, they're trauma bonding. Sweet. I had to put up with it constantly since I was 6. True. My apologies. The doctor finally remembered that Angie was also a victim who had been exposed to the same curious eye as he had been. In that case, you can understand why I don't want to have anything to do with that incident. It was an unfortunate accident. The only ones who want to make a fuss about it being a crime are those irresponsible TV shows and magazines. I'm more fed up with their attitude. Nanjo had been bathed with attention for being one of Ushiramiya Kinzo's few friends. Because of that, there probably is an aggressive and persistent rush among the witch hunters, and the press to use Nanjo's son as a well-surviving relative. It reminds me of House of Leaves. I feel like I keep referencing things that I just like recommend people like, oh yeah, check out House of Leaves. Oh yeah, check out Disco Elysium. Everything is House of Leaves and everything is Umineko. I could not recommend it enough, Sid. It is the most crazy ass fucking book I've ever read. It took me fucking months to read that shit. I'll never fucking forget it though. I could never spoil it. I'm sure you guys probably know it's about a house that's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, but it's way more than that. And the press used Nanjo's son as a surviving relative, as a source of information. The doctor went on, criticizing the press indignantly. I really understand how you feel. For a person like me, who was observed even in her personal life, and whose privacy, likeness, and even human rights might have been violated, it's really easy to pick up on the anger of someone in your position. And for that very reason, I want to know, more than anything else, what in the world happened in the incident that so thoroughly ruined my life. So I came here. I'm a related party, just like you. Not a magazine columnist or an interviewer. Please, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't come to do this for fun. Quit looking down on me. If we're gonna argue over whose life was most screwed up by that incident, you're no match for me. Angie spoke sharply. The doctor, who hadn't imagined that he would be talked back to in such a forceful manner, couldn't help but fall silent. From Angie's perspective, the doctor really was whining over nothing. She really didn't want to be looked down upon. It was about time to let him understand how many days had passed for her before arriving on this island. The doctor realized that he'd said something wrong and remained silent for a while, looking uncomfortable. I know it's probably painful to remember what happened at the time, but if there's anything you do know, please tell me no matter what it is. Of course, I'll keep quiet about it. I visited here today to bring some resolution to my life. I'm 18. That incident took away 12 years of my life, and will probably keep on taking. Since that day when I was 6 years old, I've remained shut away in darkness. Are you saying that despite that, I still don't have a right to know? No, how rude of me. It seems that since all the others who came were ill-natured folk, I instinctively put up my guard. I apologize for my rudeness. I understand. If you'll swear not to breathe a word of this to anyone, I'll tell you everything. Does he have a front profile, or is it just this? I guess that is just this. Thanks, Doctor. Then, if you would, please tell me anything you can. As you know, my father was not only Mr. Ushiramiya's head physician, but his friend through the game of chess. That relationship was very long, stretching back to the time Mr. Ushiramiya moved to Rokanjima. Just how close were they? Very close, it seems. It seems that their connection through chess led my father to stay at Mr. Ushiramiya's mansion quite often. Although I may not be one to talk, Mr. Ushiramiya was extremely moody. And my father was an exceedingly magnanimous man who excelled in interacting with humans like him. It's not hard to imagine that he was a rare friend for the isolated Mr. Ushiramiya. That was the day of the family conference. At the Ushiramiya family conference, the inheritance and how it would be distributed were rigorously discussed, making it almost like a financial conference, which means Dr. Nanjo must have gained a trust so great that he was asked to attend even that, right? My father was a simple doctor, so I cannot imagine that he was in a position to advise on the distribution of a wealth for a massively rich family like the Ushiramiya family. He was most likely called there to assist with Mr. Ushiramiya's health, because it was not at its best at the time. As Kinzo's close friend, I'm sure my father would have kept his mouth shut, and that he was trusted not to leak the secrets of the family conference. Wasn't Ushiramiya Kinzo in a very bad health at the time? Were there any medical charts left behind? Perhaps he brought the medical charts with him on the day of the accident. I'm afraid to say the entire folder of Mr. Ushiramiya's medical charts have been lost. God damn it, I would have loved to know. He was my father's patient, so I do not know the details. Around the time of the incident, did anything strange happen? Yes, there was one thing. However, it seems exceedingly likely to invite misunderstandings, so I very much do not wish to discuss it. It's going to be about his daughter, I bet. What is it? Please tell me. For a while, the doctor beat around the bush, but after saying that much, he couldn't be able to fool Angie by dodging the subject. He eventually gave in, and after making Angie swear herself to secrecy again, told her. The truth is, several days after that incident, I received something by mail at my home. By mail? It was very curious. The sender was made out to be me, but I had no memory of it. Someone had faked my name and sent it. The destination was Rebun Island in Hokkaido. Fuck you, Eric. Nanjo is Maria's dad. Excluding the northern territories, it is at the most northern tip of Japan. The recipient was apparently a resident on Rebun Island, but the name was my father's. Twin Nanjo? What the fuck? However, it seemed that there was a problem with the destination address, so it was stamped as address unknown and returned to the sender, me. It was a truly strange tale. Nanjo's son's name was written as the sender. However, he said he hadn't been mailed the letter. In short, that meant someone had faked his name and sent it. The destination was Nanjo Terumasa on Hokkaido's Rebun Island. But the lot number written on it didn't exist. So the local post office had been unable to deliver it, instead sent it back to the sender, Nanjo's son. What was inside? I do ask you keep silent about this. It is extremely troublesome to me as well. Even so, I cannot throw it away. The doctor stood up and faced a bookshelf. There was packed a group of dictionaries that could have only have been ornamental, meant to make it very clear that the owner was an intellectual. And he pulled out several volumes out of there. A large brown envelope peeked out from behind them. He took that out and tossed it onto the desk. It had been carefully sealed with cellophane tape, and its faded color and dryness made it clear that it had been sealed 12 years ago. I ask most solemnly for your silence on this matter. Being so persistent that it was annoying, the doctor removed the seal with a paper knife. Oh, how fancy of him. Even when he tilted the envelope, the already open mail envelope spilled out. The envelope had a weight to it, hinting there was something other than a letter inside. The recipient was certainly Nanjo Terumasa. Just seeing that was a huge shock. Following that incident, Nanjo's corpse had not been found, and he had eventually been treated as dead after going missing under extraordinary circumstances. Wait, how did Nanjo die in the first episode? Yeah, you're right. I think that's right. Nanjo was kicked out of the room by... Oh, the Maria singing scene. I don't know. I think about... The first episode to me is like the one that's... Like the one. That's like the biggie. That's like the most likely thing that happened. That's like the most canon thing. Shh. My logic is... Was Ava dead? I'm just fucking... I don't know. He'd eventually been treated as dead after going missing under extraordinary circumstances. And despite that, this letter addressed to Nanjo in Hokkaido existed. One could almost take this as a sign that he had faked his own death and escaped to Hokkaido. Was Dr. Nanjo really in Hokkaido? Or else was there another person with the same name and first and last names in Hokkaido? Yeah, but then the sender address wouldn't have made sense. If my father had somehow escaped from the accident and lived on in Hokkaido, that would have made us of his family very happy, regardless of the circumstances. I also thought of that possibility at first. However, the envelope's destination address does not exist. In short, this envelope was mail that had no way of reaching him. Is there a possibility that the sender miswrote the correct address? Of course, I cannot deny it. However, judging from the resident's house number, I find that hard to believe. What if it's going to be 11... What if it's going to be 790... What is that number from the... I forget the number. I have it written down on my notes. Hold up. What if it's fucking like 07151129? Like Drury Lane, Hokkaido, Rebun Island, Rebun County, Rebun City. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up until Rebun City, it's fine. But I just couldn't wipe away the feeling that that sequential number after it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, was a little insincere. It felt like a fake number that some kid had made up. Like Maria. They probably wrote a nonsense number that clearly didn't exist. I think it's natural to assume that, from the very beginning, this envelope was sent to a non existent residence to which it had no chance of being delivered. If the destination address doesn't exist, mail is generally returned to the sender. But even in the case of an incomplete address, the local post office will often courteously, and to the best of its ability, research to find whether the sender's intended destination exists. When they still can't find it, the mail is sometimes returned after an investigation of several days. It seemed that the same thing had happened with this envelope, and the stamp was postmarked on October 3rd. It was postmarked on Niijima. Niijima was a long way from Rebun Island. It's on the other fucking side of the country. On top of that, the destination was also nonsensical. It had taken more than a week for the mail to be returned. In other words, there was probably a high chance that the envelope returned to the sender after an unfixed amount of time had been the goal from the very beginning. Why do something like that? Even before asking what it was that had been sent, this envelope already wrapped in mystery. And inside it, hold up, I gotta be right back. Okay, I'm back. Oh, I'm glad to see you're starting to feel better. We are in the middle of cold and flu season. Go ahead. Okay, wait, is everything? Yeah, I'm good. After getting the doctor's permission, I tilted the already opened envelope. From the inside came a small folded letter and a small key with a number plate attached. Then a magnetic card slid out. A1112 was engraved on the key's number plate. By the Pier. A1112. Okay, thank you. I didn't know what it meant. The magnetic card was pitch black and had gold characters engraved on it. I guess encyclopedic knowledge when any given scene happens. Members was written in English. The jet black, gold lettered card design made it feel like something very high class. But of course, I didn't have a clue of what kind of card it was just from that. I unfolded the letter. Its contents were extremely brief, and only written was the following. Holy fucking shit. 07151129. Also written was the name of a certain massive bank known throughout Japan, as well as the words Central Branch. That was all. And this is. It seems that the person who wrote the letter, maybe before the Rokenjima incident even happened, wanted the receiving of the letter to be delayed. Yeah, right? When did he say he got it? Did he say he got it a couple days or a couple days after the murders or like a week after it? A couple days. So whoever sent this letter is the murderer. Like 100 bazillion%. And this is it's a card, a key, and a pin for a safe deposit box. And it wasn't a normal safe deposit box either. It was an unsettling one, which was apparently reserved only for special clients. After he finished putting his affairs in order following his father's funeral, he had visited the bank. Pin and key and card. There was no doubt that something of great importance was kept there. And he had been naturally curious about what it might be. Oh, this is gonna be some closed room shit. I fucking guarantee it. At first, he hadn't known what to do. The card wasn't something he'd owned in the first place. When he mustered up his courage and showed the card to a bank clerk, he was then switched to a clerk of clearly high status and was guided to a large vault on the fourth basement. The security on the way there was strict. The doctor himself stored valuable items such as real estate. transcripts in a safe deposit box before, but this was something on a whole different level. Unlike the procedure at the deposit box I had been using, with this system, as long as you had a card, a pin, and a key, you didn't need to have your identity confirmed. But anyway, I was frightened at how imposing that secure vault was. I wondered what kind of shady objects might await me that had to be stored in a place like this. I'm fucking losing my shit. And then, when I passed the card through the reader, I was asked to input the PIN. After that 8-digit number was input and authenticated, I was permitted to access the vault. It was an incredible scene. A world like something from a sci-fi movie. The massive, dimly lit silver room was covered with doors to safes. He'd entered that room along with the clerk. It seems that as soon as the card was read, the vaults he had a right to were determined. So that safes he could open were lit with a green light, while those he couldn't open were lit with a red one. A112 was one of those safes that were marked. Are there going to be other keys? By the way, there are several other safes marked with a green lamp besides that one. I think there were at least 20. Maybe like 18. There might have even have been more in the other corner. In any event, I had only had the key to A112. As the clerk watched, the doctor had unlocked and opened the safe. I'm so fucking spooked. When he did, a safe drawer like a large cabinet had opened. And an expensive looking Duralumin. Hold up, I have to look up what that means. Trade name for one of the easiest types of age-hardened aluminum copper alloys. Okay. And that was carried into a separate room where for the first time the clerk left and he was introduced to the contents. And the contents were cash. Cash? How much? I've heard that a pack of 1 million yen in fresh banknotes is precisely 1 centimeter thick. Since those were packed tightly into a duralumin case of such a size, there's probably 100 million yen in total. Oh, it's where all the money is. I don't know because I didn't count. I didn't even touch it with my hands. I realized at once this was dangerous money. This is the Bashir and Mia wealth, right? That's backed by the gold. It isn't normal to store a whole 100 million yen in cash in a case in a safe like that. No. It's much easier to deal with if you put it into an account and turn it into numbers. When someone is unable to do that, then it's clear that there's something wrong with that cash. Well, yeah, but it's in all the safes, right? Like, it all adds up. There's a bunch of safes. I don't know. My mind went blank, and I realized that I mustn't get involved. So you didn't use it at all? Correct. I locked it back up just as I'd found it, returned it to the original safe, and left. I have thought about throwing away that key and card, but you don't know what will happen. For that reason, I have been hiding it in the back of this bookcase for a full 12 years, and I still do not know what kind of money that was. Could I borrow this envelope? No. Please just view it here. Understood. Then, if you'll excuse me, there's something I want to investigate. I took One-chan's grimoire from the knapsack and I had set down. Then I opened to a page with the paragraph Beatrice had written to One-chan and compared the handwriting on both. There was no mistake about the characteristic handwriting. The one who had sent this 100 million yen in cash was Beatrice herself. But what is it? Something's bugging me. What is it? What could it be? What? Who's this? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got something like that in the mail. Hey, Ma, where'd you put that? I'm not doing that voice. That's really fucked. That's Kumasawa's son? The same envelope and its contents had been sent to Kumasawa's son, who had once lived with her. I'm not giving him the fucking Big the Cat voice. That's so fucked up. Kumasawa Sabakichi works at the Nijima fishing harbor. He must have gotten his carefree big heart. Fuck, he is Big the Cat. Many of Kumasawa's sons are fishermen, so they're often away from land for their work. This one happens to work at the harbor, so it was only coincidence that I managed to get in touch with him. It's payment for helping out with the murder? I don't fucking know. Kumasawa loved to talk. I did hope he might have heard her let something slip, but... What the fuck? The same envelope and contents had been sent to Kumasawa's son, who had once lived with her, but he had been very busy in the days since and seemed to have forgotten about it while running around all over the place. However, its strange contents had apparently stayed in his memory, and he remembered as soon as Angie mentioned it to him. After a bit of a wait, his thin-lipped wife found the envelope, complaining that he always forgot where he put things right away. The modus operandi for the sender and recipient was the same as Nanjo's sons. The sender made out to be Kumasawa's son, and the recipient was Kumasawa Chiyo, and the destination address was in the Okinawa prefecture. Okinawa, Yaeyama County, Yonaguni City, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, it's still the same. Yonaguni Island was at the westernmost tip of Japan, so we've gone from the far north to the far west. Oh shit, what was that thing I was reading about Gap? What was that thing I read about Gap, the demon, yesterday? My last stream, what did I read? Fuck. Gap is one of the 4 cardinal spirits. The West in the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum. Oh, but that wouldn't work with Kumasawa. His Kumasawa and Virgili have connection. Who was Beatrice? I have a feeling Beatrice isn't just like some witch. I don't know. Yonaguni Island was at the westernmost tip of Japan, and the lot name was the exact same sequential number that had been chosen without much care. Now it was certain. This envelope was definitely sent with the goal of having it be returned to the sender. Its contents were exactly the same. A letter with the pin and bank's main branch written on it. A magnetic card, a key with an attached number plate. This inscription on the plate was A13. A113. The number right after the one on the main key that had been sent to Nanjo. Most likely inside the vault was the same kind of duralumin case packed with 100 million yen in cash. I get the feeling that my dead mother sent it to me from beyond the grave. Don't really get what's inside, and it's creepy, so I just left it alone all this time, and totally forgot about it until today. So, you know what this is, girl? Could it be the same kind of thing that came to your place? Ah. What is it, Angie-sama? Are you? Is it a headache? A headache? Sorry, my head hurts. I've got it. I know. What do you mean you know? You don't mean... This envelope came to your place too, Angie-sama. I've remembered. I've remembered. A strange envelope was also sent to me 12 years ago. Except it probably had like 15 keys in it or something. After losing my entire family, I was depressed. But it was a really strange thing to come in the mail, so I still had a faint memory of it. It was a strange letter, which I had no memory of sending, which had me as the sender. I forgot the destination address, but the recipient had been Ushirimiya Rudolph, my father. I remember how disturbed I was when I got the letter I thought was from father, opened it up, and found a key and a card I didn't really understand. I felt let down and threw it away somewhere, I think. Where did I... Okay, it's just one key. Where did I put that envelope? I probably lost it somewhere in the chaos that followed. By now, I have no way of checking its contents. However, I have a general idea. I'm sure the contents were the same. Without a doubt, there had been a key, a card, and a note with a pin inside the envelope. Beatrice. What was she trying to do here? So she did hand out this stupid money to all the surviving relatives. I won't forgive her for mocking them after their deaths. Are you, Angie? Sakutaro acted nervously. It was probably sent to the southernmost or eastern part of Japan. Yeah, I agree. Does Goda have any family? Or like maybe Maria's dad? So who got the fourth one? Sakutaro acted nervously. As I looked at his worrying face, my agitation began to cool off bit by bit. I'm sorry. My hatred of Beatrice isn't anything new. I did. I got the fourth one. I was just surprised and angry to find out that I had a connection with the witch already, at the age of 6 on that day. I want to assume there's a fourth one. I thought it was a credit card scam. For the past 12 years, you've been constantly enslaved by Beatrice Sama's curse. This might be proof of that. This might be proof of that a curse. Thank you. But please, hang in there. Breaking through that was supposed to be part of the goal of this journey. That's right. Just letting the blood rise to my head won't get me anywhere. Gotta think calmly. What's going on? What's the meaning of handing out 100 million yen to the relatives? Is she trying to provoke us? Damn it, Beatrice. Angie, calm down. Are you? As Sakutaro buried his head in my stomach, he urged me to stay calm. I took another deep breath and started thinking. I wonder if this envelope was sent to support the theory that Beatrice was behind that crime. It was postmarked right before the family conference. It was intentionally set up so that it would be sent back after some time. They wanted it to arrive after the incident, is that it? Yeah. That's what it implies. But it raises a few questions. Why use such an uncertain method? Uncertain? Yes. After all, no one could guess how many days it would take for the mail to return before you use this trick. Normally, you couldn't even guess at the amount of time it would take for the receiving post office to do their research, determine that the recipient was unknown, and return it. Yeah, now that you mention it, it'd be more dependable if they just sent an arrival date and mailed it that way. Are you? Maybe, but still. If they mailed it the day before, then no matter how quickly it returned, it would probably arrive on Monday or later. I wonder if they wanted to make it seem like a letter from the dead. I don't know. They've won. You've won the money. Ding, ding, ding. A letter from the dead, you say? Right. It surprised me and it made me feel bad. Some mail with my dead family's name written on the outside in large letters. It was thrown into the mailbox with an ominous label attached. However, it doesn't really make sense to me. I would have mailed it to arrive on a specified day. I don't think it has the one winged eagle symbol on it. I think they're just using that as like a letter. I think the letter looks normal. Just can't understand why someone would allow the uncertainty of it arriving on a day other than the one they imagined. Are you? But it really does sound like Beato to me. Huh? You know about Beato? Well, I only talked with her a little. Still, I can pretty much accept that Beato would do something like this. Can't you imagine that happening too, Mammon? Beato likes pranks like this, right? Yeah, that might be true. I wouldn't put it past Beatrice-sama to try a vicious prank like a letter from the dead. No, that's not all. Beatrice would find it more interesting to do it through an uncertain method, instead of one that was absolutely certain. She would find an uncertain method interesting. I remember reading is hard. I remembered Maria One-chan's diary. It described playing with Beatrice very often. During those times, Beato sometimes played pranks on the adult relatives of Maria, but those pranks always had a touch of witch aesthetics, which was that they were more interesting when they were uncertain. One day, Maria One-chan and Beato decided to use a wind-up mini car she had bought for a prank. It was a popular toy at the time, and if you made the mini car back up, it would wind up the spring and the tires. Oh, I love those things. Those things are fun as fuck. And when you let go, it would race forwards. They had wound up the mini car and set it behind a milk jug. In other words, the prank was if you lifted the milk jug, the mini car would jump up. That's so fucking rude. You would scare the shit out of me doing that. Hoping that someone would get caught in this prank, One-chan and Beato would watch the adults from the shadows for their whole tea time. They were looking forward to seeing someone get caught by it, but no one moved the trap milk jug, and the trap ended up in a misfire. And One-chan had muttered, "I should have put it somewhere that would have caught someone." Beato apparently said this: "The most interesting and thrilling traps are those you don't know who will get caught, or if anyone will get caught at all." It's probably true that you wouldn't get this kind of excitement from a trap that would certainly go off. It's like the idea of magic. It's like the miracle and the feelings. It's like gambling and putting your whole, like, fucking emotion into this shit. Similar accounts occurred in multiple places, making it possible to guess that the witch called Beatrice had a fickle character and loved a random thrill. A fickle person is very hard to deal with. You can't spin the chessboard around to find out what that witch from 12 years ago was planning. As Angie examined these, her gaze darted from place to place. Yes. Colon 3C, which is the cat, obviously. And let's kill Kinzo. As Angie examined these, her gaze darted from place to place. Then she suddenly showed interest in the wall. There, several framed pictures were hung. Many of them were commemorative photos from when the relatives of the Kumasawa family gathered or went somewhere to play, and Kumasawa was in several. And she still wore a smile that made it so you could almost hear her light-hearted ho 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 laugh. I've been wondering the same thing, Sid. She's a gambler. I'm not ready for Beatrice's Kinzo. Oh my gosh. Did you notice anything different about Kumasawa in the days leading up to the incident? Nope. She looked the same as ever. The family conference put her on the edge, so she was always grumbling about how tough it was. Who the fuck is Beatrice? What's this? Among the several frames, there was one that had something other than a picture of people in it. It was a picture of a mackerel. It was a picture of an enlarged relief of a door from a Western-style house or something. You couldn't see any interesting subject in particular, which actually bugged me a bit as I wondered why anyone had gone to all the trouble of taking it. And I got closer, and I realized that some characters have been written with a pen. Who are you people? Oh, yeah, that's a photo I got when Mother's belongings were distributed. What? Where the fuck is this? Are these the two? Oh, that's the chapel? I didn't know there were lions outside the chapel. I think that's because I played with the... I didn't play with the 07th mod. Maybe the two lions are like the two... will tell you of there sleeps the key to the Golden Land? Fuck. The witch's epitaph, you mean? It is whispered that it pointed out the location of the hidden 10 tons of gold. No, that's too obvious. It's not gonna be that easy. It's not gonna be that easy. So Kumasawa-san tried to solve it too. But this isn't the epitaph. It's the first time I've seen it. There was an arch above the Western-style door, and that's where the relief was. Oh, is this when we're gonna see where the relief, what the relief says, like the whole thing? Because I don't think Battler spoke enough English to really get it. It said like MBTQ or something like that. I have it written down. Let me check my notes. What we made out was MBTQ. Oh shit, I don't speak Japanese. English words were engraved there, and it seemed that to be particular was the picture was and that seemed to be what the picture was focused on. The pen writing appeared to be a translation into Japanese. This door is opened at the probability of quadrillion to 1. Fuck! You will be blessed only at a probability of a quadrillion to 1. Byrne was the one that was talking about that. Byrne, like the miracles and the episode 2, and episode 2 being all about miracles. Unless a miracle occurs, this door will never be opened. Unless the miracle occurs, you will never be blessed. Fuck, a goddamn miracle needs to occur. Nothing like this ever showed up in the epitaph or One-chan's diary. In Mother's belongings, there was quite a few photos and notes. It looked like her trying to solve the riddle of the epitaph. Mother was actually surprisingly fond of that kind of thing. And there was that rumor that 10 tons of gold bars were hidden somewhere. It's no surprise she got absorbed by it. You know, it's almost like what's making Beatrice is like people who become obsessed with the legend become Beatrice. So maybe Virgilia was like the first person to ever really try to solve the mystery. And Virgilia is like her equivalent of Ava Beatrice. But then she couldn't figure it out and she passed it to somebody else. And then that somebody passed it to Ava, and then that person passed it to Angie. That's why Angie's the final Beatrice. But the question is, who's which Beatrice is this? Beato. In both Maria One-chan's diary and in her grimoire, there was a description of the witch's epitaph. It had talked about how it was a ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land, Beatrice's resurrection ceremony, and Beatrice's succession ceremony. On and on. Maybe the most interesting one was the last part, about it being a succession ceremony. According to Beatrice, if you were able to solve the witch's epitaph, you would receive not only the 10 tons of gold in the Yoshirimiya family inheritance, but her own magical power and name, as well as the title of Golden Witch. So maybe Kinzo and Kumasawa? I mean, they boinked? I don't know. This is so fucking confusing. What if Kumasawa and Kinzo had a daughter? I don't fucking know. Among the Yoshirimiya family household at the time, the witch's epitaph was thought as a difficult quiz, which the family head Kinzo had arranged for to choose his successor. But with the Mariage Sorcière interpretation, the questioner was Beatrice herself. And she had posed the question in part to choose her successor. There were slight discrepancies in the details of the two interpretations. I already think Beatrice is an Yoshirimiya. Either way, its ominous contents brought to mind a bloody serial murder. In both of the message bottles drew a tale of a crime following that pattern. If I could solve the witch's epitaph now, 12 years later, I wonder if I could expose some plot made back then. I tried to solve it many times myself, but I never did have a clue what it meant. It seems that many witch hunters tried as well. I also found theories like the La Plata theory and the Enoura theory in certain books. What is Enoura? Oh, it's someplace in Odawara. However, neither of these theories were conclusive. Why would it be in... That's what I thought too, Sid. The River Plate. Argentina does mean the land, like the Silver Land. So that's kind of funny. However, neither of these theories were conclusive. Are there any other materials? I think so, but they were all split up between my siblings. I don't have a clue who has what. Sorry. Just reading this English text in Kumasawa-san's that Kumasawa-san took a picture of. It gives me the impression that this was a forbidden door that was rarely opened. But where in the mansion is it, I wonder? Judging by the lighting, it looks like it's outside. I wonder if Kumasawa-san thought that the gold might be hidden in there. Who knows? Either way, I do wonder where in the Rokkenjima mansion it was. I hate to say it, but there wasn't enough money in Mother's bank account to make me think she found the gold. Maybe you should have got that money from the fucking... He didn't even bother doing it. He was like, oh, I don't know, it just seemed weird. And I was like, it just doesn't seem good to me. The Golden Witch Beatrice gave 10 tons of gold to Kinzo. Which meant that the witch was the true owner of the gold. Beatrice was the owner of all the vast fortune of the Yoshiramiya family. The witch holding this vast wealth had massacred the humans on Rokkenjima on that day. Fuck, I've been streaming for 6 hours. Sending large amounts of money to the surviving relatives like it was a game. Like hell, it's a letter from the dead. This is a desecration of the dead. I was once again convinced. When my family died on that island that day, they didn't go to heaven. They're being trapped by the witch even now, and are being desecrated and tormented for all eternity. The last place Angie visited was a store in the region between the housing district and the retail stores with a signboard saying Marufuku Sleep Shop. There lived the man who had been the boat captain of the ferry boat to Rokkenjima at that time. Even he, who had once lived as a man of the sea, had retired after contracting a serious illness and was now taken care of at the house of his son and his son's wife.
I remember it very well. You were still about this small.
Hold up, I gotta read his thing. An old man who used to be a captain of a high-speed boat that went to and from Rokkenjima. At least among those still alive, he's certainly the person most familiar with matters concerning Rokkenjima. The media hoped he might have learned details of the situation inside the Yoshiramiya family from various discussions with servants going to and from the island. However, he never said anything, so they eventually began to forget this old man. Captain Kawabata.
Look how you've grown. And it must have been very tough on you. I know how well you must have feel. I know very well how you must feel.
The former boat captain was in such high spirits that you couldn't really tell why he had retired in the first place. His memory seemed clear too, and he could remember the events more than a decade ago well. It is? What does Angie know about Maria's childhood friend Beatrice and about everything that happened in the past? Fuck, I don't know. These are the big questions. The way he chatted on was very helpful for Angie. But at the same time, he also remembered the final family conference very well. And the fact that he remembered even details like Battler's fall badness of a boat was actually painful for her. It had been so back then as well, but even now there was no public way to cross to Rokonjima. It was necessary to make an individual request to an owner of a boat to make a voyage. I've been unable to arrange for a boat to Rokonjima. It's if you get an absinthe that's like 80% alcohol, you should be fine. I don't know. My dad has some. But as I said before, like liquor, I just fucking can't stand liquor. So if he refused me, such a voyage would probably become hopeless.
I'll take you to Rokenjima. Shiver me timbers. It won't be easy to get a boat, to find a boat eager to go to that island. By now, there are some who call it by its old name, Akujishima.
Ajukishima. Instead, I almost forgot about that detail. I think that was from episode 2. I think it meant like Devil's Island or something like I forget what it meant. It's understandable why the sailors
around here would turn down your request.
From the start, fishermen had feared Rokonjima as an island of misfortune. And because of that incident 12 years ago, this fear had reached a peak. What does Rokonjima even mean? What does Roken mean in Japan? I think Jima just means island. Oh, 6, I think. I heard disclosure, exposure, or detection. Yeah, no fucking shit. Fucking Mystery Island. There were almost no sailors who would try to take a boat to the cursed island. Because of that, most of the witch hunters were unable to cross over to Rokonjima and were limited to taking a trip around the island. I really want to see like Portal to Rokonjima with like the fucking whole mansion like overgrown and like fucking the weeds crawling up the fucking mansion. I really need that. Which had resulted in the propagation of the bizarre witch stories they loved so much. Would you take me in your boat?
Yep. They're supposed to give it back to me just for tomorrow. Though it seems its engine has been in a pretty bad mood lately. I'll knock it into shape.
The former boat captain promised that tomorrow he would go back to his previous job and take his boat out to Rokonjima. Now my method of transport to Rokonjima is insured. This is probably all I can do in Nijima. All that's left is tomorrow. On Rokonjima, I'll reach the final destination of a journey that stretches back 12 years. Isn't that great? This way, it looks like you'll be able to go to the island. It sure does. I heard that it would be hard to find a boat, so the boat captain's helpfulness really saved me. Although it may not be the same as it was for you, Angie-sama, I'm sure the incident 12 years ago has been a thorn for the boat captain as well, one that he still hasn't been able to pull out. Are you? Even the boat captain wasn't able to sort out his feelings this whole time. That's probably true. If that guy had taken his boat out on October 5th as promised, there's a chance he could have saved a lot of people. If he hadn't been hesitant to go out just because of a little wind. But you shouldn't say things like that. I'm sure that's pained the boat captain constantly up until today. Apparently, they truly had been right in the middle of a typhoon on October 5th. According to the boat captain, he had known for certain that they'd be trapped by the typhoon if they headed to Rokkenjima on October 4th. But the family had been very persistent about the date of their conference, which had been determined beforehand. It was only natural. All of the relatives had been very busy at the time, and they came to the family conference only after arranging their schedules beforehand. It was probably a situation where they couldn't easily push it back to the next week just because a typhoon was approaching. It wasn't the boat captain's fault, but perhaps you could say that he wasn't so irresponsible that he could place the blame wholly on the typhoon. Certainly, just as these two said, there's no doubt the boat captain had been dragging the events of 12 years ago along with him this whole time. And by taking me, the last member of the Ushirimiya line, to the island, and bringing me back safely, he might be trying to find some resolution for his past.
The boat is supposed to return just after noon. I'll guide you to Rokkenjima after that, so we should be arrived before evening. It's an island without electricity or lights. You won't be able to stay long. Will you be satisfied with landing that short?
There's nothing wrong that would make me more satisfied than by staying longer. I'm grateful just to have you take me there.
Yep, don't mention it. If I had parted with my boat, I'd be able to guide you to the island as much as you liked, without being stingy.
It's not like I have a goal of doing something in particular on Rokkenjima, so I'll be there during the evening. The evening, which straddles the two different worlds of day and night, seemed almost like a borderline between this world and the next. Or possibly 1998 and 1986. And it felt like the most fitting time to visit Rokkenjima. It's not like I have anything in particular to do there. Just staying there for a few hours should be enough for me to find some closure. At that time, there was a small knock on the paper sliding door, and Amakusa stuck his head in, tapping his watch. I nodded back and told him about how I had succeeded in reserving a boat for tomorrow.
That's great. It's all about time for us to go. We'll be counting on you tomorrow, Captain.
Sure, leave it to me. I've heard all about what you guys have gone through. I've also watched the talk shows at the time and was disgusted by the people who stirred up that incident just for fun. I'll help out in any way I can.
This has been one of my favorite voices in a while. I'm so glad I gave him the Mr. Krabs pirate voice. Truly an Umineko Pier moment. Thank you very much. Then we'll see you at noon tomorrow. Here. The fare for the boat. Angie took a wrap wad of 10,000 yen bills from her pocket. The boat captain should have noticed its thickness as well, but he paid absolutely no interest and shook his head.
I'm grateful to you. This is a sign from the heavens. I've been given a final chance to take you to Rokkenjima and bring you back safely. Now I'll finally be able to finish the final job Kinzo-san entrusted me with.
I don't like that he said that. So I'm grateful to you.
I'm grateful to you. I got more than enough money from Kinzo-san back then. I can't accept yours.
Thank you very much. It's gonna be like Squid Game and he's gonna fucking kill her on the boat.
Watch your step on the stairs. It's steep.
I went down the steep staircase that was the exact opposite of accessible. It was getting hard to believe that there was actually a chest of drawers and a TV in the room upstairs. Most of the first floor was a bedding store, with many futons piled up on each other. We weaved our way through the cramped futon shop. After cautiously checking around outside, Amakusa dashed out first and started up the car.
My grandchild's room is empty. I really wouldn't mind if you stayed there. As you see, we've got plenty of extra futons.
Thanks a lot for the offer. But in this way, even if the unexpected happens, you won't be bothered. Sakutaro. Why the fuck is Sakutaro there? And the bunnies, too. This is actually Maria's dad.
I don't know the details, but it seems you've caught up in a lot of trouble. There's rumor that some suspicious people are searching for someone. That wouldn't happen to be you, would it?
Who knows? Angie played dumb, but it looked as though the boat captain had guessed.
My job is to take guests to Rokenjima and to bring them back again. My name's Lunan. Nice to meet ya.
That would be the fucking drop of the fucking century. I'm still wondering who Lunan is after all this fucking time. You can't just name drop a servant like that way in the beginning of episode 1, and then I keep wondering about who the fuck they are. Who the fuck is Lunan?
That job was put on hold 12 years ago, and it still hasn't ended. So thanks to you, I'll finally be able to finish it. So listen. Let me finish this job, okay? You understand me? Landlubber.
Yeah. It's not like I'm going there to die. But part of me does feel that if I could die on that island, I'd surely be able to go where my family is. Finally become aware of it. Might have been planning to die on that island. I might have come all this way, heading towards Rokenjima in search of a place to die. The boat captain guessed that as well. That's why he repeatedly told me not to die. I almost read her in the fucking pirate voice, I fucking swear to God. Yeah, I won't die. I promise. After all, I'm still not sure if there's any reason why I need to go to Rokenjima.
No, I'm sure there's a reason. Even if there isn't one for you, there is one for them. The island called you, lass. That's why you came here.
That might be true. I might have been called. I was called. For what reason? For them. Father, mother, Pater Oni-chan, Maria One-chan, or maybe the Golden Witch, Beatrice. What is on Rokenjima? And what will I achieve? Even though tomorrow is finally almost here, I still haven't been able to understand my own mission. There was the sound of a car stopping in front of the store, and a short honk could be heard. And I'll see you tomorrow.
I hate conspiracy theories. I despise QAnon.
If you'll excuse me.
Yep.
Fuck, I really hope I get to read him more. Winding between the stacks of futons in the cramped store, I was about to go outside. Then my feet stopped.
What is it?
What is that?
That? What? What are you talking about?
trembling all over. She saw the lion. But no matter how much the boat captain squinted, he noticed absolutely nothing in that direction, so that would have surprised me. That must mean... Impossible! But why? Are you? Angie? What does it mean? What's going on here? I don't have a clue either. There's no way something that ridiculous. Is this magic? A miracle? Yes, this is probably fate. Now I understand. This was my mission. Are you? I don't have a clue what... Shaking. I pointed into the thin darkness inside the store and froze up.
What is it? You see something there, don't ya? I don't see anything. What is it you see?
Thank you, Captain. Everything's fate. Even me visiting this place was fate. This is the mission and the purpose that I'm going to Rokonjima for.
Angie-san, what is it? Is something wrong?
I don't have a clue either. This girl just froze up while pointing into the darkness. Dark.
Oh my god, that is so fun to say in a pirate accent. Fuck me.
Angie-san, you okay?
Can you see? Can't you two see it? It's that right there. Can't you see it?
All I can see is a normal display case. There's no one there, right?
Are you? Angie, I don't know what's going on. Is this a dream? Magic? What is it? Angie? Sakutaro lifted his face towards Angie. From his eyes slid a single tear. Angie-sama, I understand, One-chan, and Beatrice. Are you? This is magic, isn't it? They saw Sakutaro, right? So Sakutaro is Jesus. Because Jesus came back and so did fucking Sakutaro. I was fucking right. This was all a fucking Narnia reference. It's all been a fucking Narnia reference. Fuck. Alright, that's where we end today. Jesus, this fucking episode is so goddamn crazy. I can't wait to stream this tomorrow. Fuck. This game is kicking my ass. That's like my favorite thing about this game, is that this game kicks my ass. Oh my fucking gosh. I feel like I'm getting close to something. I feel like I'm like so close to grasping something in my hands right now. But it's just out of fucking reach. We haven't even seen Erica. You were getting close. I feel like I'm getting it. I'm starting to like put shit together. Erica is crazy. I feel like I'm fucking Battler when I play this game. Jesus Christ. That's why Battler's the main character, not anybody else. You are our Battler. uh... I can't wait to see how this all fucking plays out. And then I get to jump over to the new game. Though, question, can you like see all the tips and stuff from the first 4 episodes in the answers arc, or do you have to open up the questions arc to look at it? Fuck. Okay. Though I guess I'm gonna start getting answers then, so maybe I won't need it. Oh well. Gosh, I'm enjoying these fucking streams so much. Oh my gosh. This has been a lot of fun. We're gonna continue it tomorrow, probably around 9 o'clock. So just, I don't know, keep an eye out. As I said, I try to plan streams ahead. It's kind of hard to do that, but whatever. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out and bye.